Ready to roll?
Let's go.
Good afternoon. It's Robert and Julia Miller with the J. Patel Group and Rethink Real Estate with another exciting real estate update.
Exciting. So exciting.
Episode 101.
101.
On our way to 200.
That's right. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with a friend, comment. We're getting all kinds of fun comments coming in, so that's nice.
Yeah, appreciate the feedback and the interaction. Yeah. That's awesome. And share it with your friends so we continue to grow our viewership.
Join in the discussion. Comments below.
All right, you got a joke for us?
I do.
Lay it on us.
We were talking about this morning, so it's funny that this was my joke. Anyway, Walmart. The only place on earth you can get a haircut, eye exam, ice cream sandwich, tires for your car, and witness a real-life what not to wear episode.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought it was funny.
You're a Target snob. I just realized I'm married to a Target snob.
I am a little bit. Walmart you can definitely save some money at Walmart, and Walmart stepped up their game big time over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
But it can be a little sketchy in there, you gotta admit.
Okay. Hope we don't get sued. All right, here's my joke. Don't forget to turn your bathroom scale back 15 pounds Wednesday night for Thanksgiving.
Yes, I love that.
It is coming.
Do it. Turn it back. We're going to do a turkey trot, what I'm calling it a turkey trot, post-Thanksgiving hike.
Right.
I'm excited about it.
Over 6 miles.
Yeah, over
so
6 miles. Yeah.
Long for us. Probably short for other people, but long for us. So
yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is. It's our maximum distance right now. You know, who knows? We may gain more mileage, on
Get in shape, I think they call that.
Yeah, I feel like we are getting in shape. So, anyway.
All right, so we are going to review a little news, then we're going to review the stat report, a lot of interesting data to share with you on that front.
These are stats for October.
For October,
now that all the numbers are coming in, and what there's also at the summary of the stats. Robert will run through the stats, and then the summary kind of gives us, okay, what we've seen in the past. Here's the numbers that we've talked about in the past. And here's how we lined up with the predictions that we made for October. And then what are we thinking November is going to look like into December, I think, and finishing out the year, as it were.
Good summary.
Yeah.
So stats, a little bit of news. We will take a look at rates and inventory, and then that will wrap it up.
Yeah.
So here we go. Get a little housing news in.
Right.
6 figures. The typical U.S. home buyer needs to earn $107,000 to afford the median monthly mortgage payment.
Wow.
That's up a full 45.6% from the $73,688 needed 12 months ago.
Affordability.
Affordability is going through the roof. Something we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on.
All right.
Cooling process in 2022. They're already kind of doing some summaries.
Mm-hmm.
The highest mortgage rates in 20 years, combined with overvaluation from 2 years of brutally fast appreciation, to create a rapid cooling in demand and recently prices.
Okay.
What is not always talked about is the continued inventory crunch, and that's the big difference between now and the Great Recession. Unlike after the Great Recession, units available for sale remain at record lows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Very low.
A little bit of economic news. You know what I did? I forgot to review history.
Oh, history. We forgot history.
But that's all right. We'll finish this up real quick. We'll do economic news, and then we'll jump back into history.
We'll go back into history.
Oh, I'm sorry. Out of sorts this morning.
Yeah.
Household debt. Credit card balances rose more than 15% in the third quarter of 2022 from the same period in 2021, the largest annual gain in 20 years. Overall household debt hit a record $16.5 trillion, with credit card debt climbing $930 billion. Wowzer,
Ugh.
that's a lot.
We hate to see that. We'd rather see you save up for sure.
Yep.
Save up for big expenses.
And down payments on
Kind of follow
properties.
the Dave Ramsey effect. Snowball your debts. Start with the highest interest rates, get that one paid off, and then move on to the other ones. And you save up 3 months of income, or 3 months of what your monthly bills would be in case of an emergency.
Right.
Minimum 3 months. That's one of the baby steps, as he calls it. Or there's the other financial guy that's out there. There's a couple out there that are really good to help you understand debt.
Mortgage debt was up $1 trillion to 11.7 trillion. Foreclosures remain low.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that, touch on that here in the stat report.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't have another update until December 5th for the Cromford report, but she touches
However,
on that.
Tina is
Tina's mentioned in there. Okay.
mentioned. Some of her comments are going to
Good.
be in the stat report.
Tina with the Cromford report.
Okay, let's jump back and doing a little bit of history. 2005, November 22nd, Angela Merkel becomes the first female chancellor of Germany.
Okay.
1995, Toy Story, the first film created entirely with CGI.
Computer generated imagery.
Thank you. Premieres November 22nd.
Love that show. Love that show. And then they took, how many years was it? Some 20 years to make the third one. 'Cause they had, it was a sequel, but it took 20 years. I think it was the third one because they had 1 and 2 come out. Yeah.
Thanks for that extra special glimpse into
Hey,
the
Toy Story
history
is
of Toy
important.
Story. Can we move on? 1963, Lee Harvey Oswald assassinates President John F. Kennedy, November 22nd in Dallas.
By himself, alone.
You're a handful today, you know what?
Okay, moving on.
1942, the Alaska Highway joins the territory to the continental U.S. via Canada.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a cool bucket list, wouldn't it?
I want to say it's
drive to Alaska.
Doesn't it connect with Highway 1? I think it connects with Highway 1.
I don't know, maybe.
The PC, Pacific Coast Highway, PCH.
1898, the first jukebox debuts November 22nd at the Palace Royale Saloon in San Francisco.
Woo.
1871, the National Rifle Association,
NRA.
thank you, is incorporated November 24th.
All right.
That organization's been around a long
It
time.
has, yeah. 1871 surprises me, but that's awesome.
1866, Alfred Nobel patents dynamite on November 25th. 1856, I'm going to get commentary on this one. Charles Darwin publishes his Theory of Evolution and Natural Selection, November 24th.
It was just a theory.
Thank you. 1718, famed pirate Edward Blackbeard Teach is killed November 22nd near North Carolina.
That's a fun fact for me. A little, not that he was killed, obviously, but it's a pirate
When
story.
I think of pirates, I always think
the Caribbean.
the Caribbean or the Pacific. I never think
It
of
happens in
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina too, apparently. At least it did in the 1700s.
All right, back on track. Let's move on
Now,
to
to derail
little
just
stat.
a little bit, Charles Darwin is a very intelligent man. I just disagree with some of it because I'm more of a creationist. Thank you.
We kind of understood that. Thank you.
I
Clarifying
recall
that.
arguing with my high school science teacher. So, anyway.
All right.
Moving on to
Moving
stats.
on to the stat reports.
These are stats that come from the ARMLS, the Arizona Regional MLS. So they
Right.
are for the metro area.
Phoenix Metro,
Mm-hmm.
out of the Arizona Regional Multiple Listing Service.
Yes.
Okay, this was published November 17th. Sales are down 16% month over month, The year-over-year comparison, however, is down 36.6%. So sales are dramatically down for the year.
Okay.
Total inventory, month-over-month increase 0.9%. However, the year-over-year reflects an increase of 96.6%. That is huge.
That is huge.
And it's ironic, we were just talking about we're still low inventory. It just gives you an indication of how low the inventory was. When we were down at 3,500 in the entire valley. It was just a mind-blowing number how low inventory was.
And to back up, we made reference to the Great Recession, and there was 57,000 homes on the market pre-crash.
Right.
So, not pre-crash.
Well, at the peak of the recession.
Yeah, at the peak of the recession. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Month supply of inventory for September was 3.57. In October, it raised to 4.30. So we look at a balance at 3. No advantage seller or buyer, and we're at 4.30. So definitely sliding into that buyer's market for sure.
Yeah.
The average sales price is up 4.7% year over year. So we're still positive appreciation, but we do expect negative appreciation the last 2 months of the year, and we'll get into that here in a little bit.
I don't want to hear that.
Tom Ruff's commentary. Well, you know.
It's only the positive news. Come on.
We can't do that. A decrease is forecast in November for both average and median sales price. So we'll get into that. Foreclosures pending. We saw a decrease of 1.6%. So that's really low. A little high number. The year-over-year figure was up 20.9%, but you got to put that in perspective. It was 998 compared to 830 last year.
And all the sales.
Distressed sales account for 0.1% of total sales.
1/10 of the market.
Year-over-year, lender-owned sales decreased 36.7% year-over-year. So I am getting asked now, hey, can you send me a list of all the foreclosures?
It'll be a short list.
It's an extremely short list.
And it probably isn't where you want to buy.
And the homes that you see are not going to be what you're looking for.
Yeah, they're very distressed homes, a lot of them. Not all of them, but...
But I'll be glad to send it to you if anybody's interested.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, days on market. We've talked about this a number of times. It went up 24 days year over year. So we're now at 55 days on the market, approaching, basically averaging 2 months on the market. So sellers, be patient. Be especially this time of year.
Ready to kind of wait things out a little bit.
All right, let's move on to some of the commentary by Tom Ruff at the information market. The price of the past month's closed sales do not reflect the contracts home buyers are signing today, but instead reflect the signings in August and September. We've talked about that a little bit as far as how the numbers are skewed, but he's bringing up a different point here. In October, ARMLS reported a median sales price of $438, a modest decline from September's metric of $439, only $500. However, prices are falling much faster than these numbers suggest, as sellers' concessions mask the actual price.
Well, it was actually a decrease of $1,000.
No. Okay, you rounded it. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was 438, 500.
Yeah, it was.
So,
but
regardless, it's $1,000.
But yeah, the concessions are masking what's really going on. You have to take that into account.
You may sell the home at full price, which we're currently in a transaction this week in that case. However, they may be asking for $10,000 in closing costs.
Right.
So that's not reflected in the actual sales price.
Right.
So just a quick summary before we get into some details. Monthly sales volume is down 36.6%. We went over that. New inventory is down 18.6 year over year. That's typical of this time of year. Pending sales are down 45% year over year. That's a lot. And total inventory is up 96.6. We touched base on that. Total inventory is up 0.9% month over month. We touched on that.
Okay.
Okay, the federal government has been raising rates to slow inflation, with housing being a primary target. With the latest sharp increase, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate has surpassed 7%. And actually,
Yeah.
I have some updated, at least from our mortgage provider, that's a little more positive.
It's a little more positive.
We'll go over that. As the federal government slams on the brakes, buyers and sellers have shied away, translating into fewer new listings, fewer sales, and lower prices. Okay, let's turn to Tina Tambira with the Crawford Report.
Let's do that. See what Tina's got to
One
say.
by one, most cities in Greater Phoenix succumb to a buyer's market, as 44% of October sales involved a seller-paid concession to the buyer that Tom just alluded to.
That's what I was looking for the percentage, so I'm glad that's stated.
Okay, so addressing for buyers, Greater Phoenix as a whole has been in a balanced market since August, all the way back in August, but is expected to glide into a buyer's market by mid-November.
Right, so balance to buyers.
Yep. Buckeye, Maricopa, and Queen Creek entered a buyer's market way back in July, so they kind of started it. Surprise, Chandler, Gilbert, and Tempe followed in August. Then Goodyear, Peoria, Avondale joined in September, and Mesa and Goodyear fell in line in October. Phoenix is expected to succumb this month within a matter of days. The only holdouts remain in the Northeast Valley cities of Paradise Valley, Fountain Hills, Cave Creek, and Scottsdale.
Yep.
The 2022 peak of price was achieved in May, which was the result of contracts accepted all the way back in March and April. So starting in June, sales prices revealed their decline in response to mortgage rate increases. At the end of October, the decline in average sales price per square foot since May was recorded at minus 9.1%. but still positive year over year at 5.7%. So if you look at the price per square foot, we're still positive appreciation at 5.7%.
Right.
Okay, mortgage rates have stabilized between 7 and 7.3% for the past 6 weeks, all of October and November to date, and continue to keep buyer demand low for now. This provides an opportunity for buyers as more sellers agree to contributing to closing cost and rate buy-downs. This has become very popular, the rate buy-down.
Right.
October sales saw 44% of sales involve a seller contribution to the buyer at closing, with a median contribution of $7,400. Closings in the first week of November showed a median contribution of $9,000. So we're seeing an increase.
Yeah.
And as I alluded to, we have a transaction, and it is over $9,000 as well on the
and that was just
contribution.
received like this week, so we're grateful and thankful for that. Even though it's a holiday week, the contracts still come.
Buyers still have demand, and we
And they
still
want to
sell
lock
homes.
in
So
the rates while they're a little lower, because they are a little lower right now. So yeah, they want to lock in the lower rates while they can.
right, and I'll give you those numbers in a moment of what we've got from Melissa Vasilev of Bay Equity. The flaw in waiting for the market to bottom out, and this is always a question of when is the market going to bottom out?
When is the bottom of the market?
It may already have, because we're looking at information 4 months ago.
Right, we don't know.
We don't know.
It may have happened in August.
So don't look for that, because you're going to miss it, guaranteed.
Right.
The flaw in waiting for the market to bottom out before purchasing is that no one knows they're buying at the bottom when they buy there.
Right.
The bottom or top of the market does not become apparent until 3 or 4 months after the contracts were written. By the time most buyers figure out that the market hit rock bottom, they're too late to the party.
Yeah, we hear buyers say that all the time. I should have bought in the summer. I should have bought a few months ago. And we're like, yeah, you
That
should have.
happens, but don't let that stop you.
But yeah, you can still buy now and, still be ahead of the game, because values are still going to increase, right? You're going to tell me that, right?
Well, to be determined.
To be determined. We will
Let's
see.
leave it at
the
that.
The crystal ball is foggy.
It's a crystal ball, so I don't want to make any kind of guarantees.
All right.
Okay, for sellers, while the environment has turned quickly away from a seller's market to an impending buyer's market and the cost to sell has increased significantly for sellers,
Yeah.
most are still walking away from the closing table with a profit.
Right.
While most reports are focused on short-term price drops since May, our smaller year-over-year appreciation rates for homeowners who have owned their home for at least 2 years are still impressive.
Right.
Here's some examples. Approximately 65% of the MLS listings, excluding new construction,
Right.
have been owned for 2 years or more. Appreciation rates based on sales price per square foot through the MLS are 2 years, 33.6%. Very nice.
good.
3
Nice.
years, 59.9%.
Ooh.
4 years, you're at 68.1%. And if you've owned your home for 5 years, the average appreciation is a whopping 84.8%. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
We were talking to a friend and client last night in the grocery store and talking about home ownership is still a good investment. The banks will pay you less than 1% in a regular savings account and not much more in a money market account. It used to be that a money market account was great, but real estate is still a good investment.
Absolutely.
Not a short-term investment.
Yeah,
As much.
longer term.
It's a longer term, 2+ years.
Right. Okay, fewer sellers are opting to sell in this market since the tipping point in June. Weekly accepted contracts have fallen 36%,
Okay.
counterbalanced with a 34% decline in weekly new listings. Historically, October typically adds about 10,000 new listings to supply,
Okay.
but this October was the lowest recorded at just 7,334.
Okay.
When supply self-regulates in response to lower demand, it puts less downward pressure on price.
Right.
Not to say prices will not decline, they will. But it would be worse if supply were also rising, which is
Right.
exactly what happened during the Great
Right.
Recession. As Greater Phoenix glides into a buyer's market this month, year-over-year appreciation rates are likely to turn negative in
Oops.
2023. So
That is not what we wanted to hear.
there is one prediction. That's kind of the first one I think
Okay.
that we've seen. So
All right. And this is Tom Ruff speaking now.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, generally speaking, neither sellers nor buyers prefer to engage in real estate during times of uncertainty. Dramatic fluctuations in mortgage rates combined with insecurities surrounding inflation and unemployment have pressed pause on housing decisions for many sellers and buyers alike. For now, if mortgage rates drop, they'll get off the fence. So
Yeah.
again, there is pent-up demand,
There is.
and we saw
It's
people
that
are looking
7
for
number.
good news.
People don't like that 7 number. If you just back off just a little bit from that, we'll see a little bit of break loose. It's not going to be, huge, I don't
Right.
think. But, yeah.
So we're forecasting a 1.18% decline in the year-over-year median sales price in November. It's pretty substantial, with
That is.
further deterioration expected in December. Just a tidbit of in the news, Redfin now has left the iBuying space.
Yeah.
So that's the second one
Right.
that's done that.
It was
besides Zillow.
And now Redfin. Yeah.
In October, iBuyers accounted for 280 home sales in Maricopa County. That's 4.5% of all homes sold. But they only accounted for 105 home purchases. That's 1.7%. So obviously, across the board, the iBuyers are backing off a little bit.
They're
And
still working through some of their inventory, too.
I think that's probably a
that's-
good portion of
They
it.
bought up, and then they went, oh crud.
Yep.
What do we do? So now they have to kind of work through that. Yeah.
Okay, so in conclusion, for Tom Ruff's commentary, the 30-year
Okay.
fixed interest rates at the beginning of each month this year were, this is interesting, January we're at 3.22, very attractive. February 3.55. March ticked up to 3.89. In April we broke 4, we went to 4.67. And I remember that. I think that was the first, may have been March, that they did the first rate increase.
March probably, yeah.
May, it jumped into the 5s, 5.10. June stayed flat at 5.10. Then July jumped to 5.70. August actually ticked down slightly, 5.30.
That's good.
September back up 5.66. October jumped up to 6.66, a full point. And now November we're at 7.08.
Yeah, okay.
When November's sales are reported, the extraordinary gains in the first quarter will have turned negative. Not what we wanted to hear.
No.
We are forecasting a 1.18% decline in the year-over-year median sales price in November, with further deterioration expected in December. We already went over that, so we're just reiterating that.
Right.
Last month, Stats mathematical model projected the median sales price for October. Here's where I got
Oh,
it.
there's
438.5.
Okay.
The
that's
actual
prediction.
amount was 438.
Okay.
Looking ahead to November, the ARMLS pending price index is projecting a median sales price of 419. That's a substantial drop. If November's median sales price projected is correct, we will see a significant month-over-month decline, leaving the median sales price down 4.34% month-over-month and down 11.79% from May's
Yeah.
record
Which was
high
where's the
of
peak,
475.
Yeah, that was the peak.
So,
good
if
news for buyers, not so good news for sellers.
True. However, sellers are still sitting in a very good position
Right.
with
There's
appreciation.
some good equity still there.
Yes. If our models are correct, year-over-year sales volume will decline between 45% and 50% year-over-year. So we'll see if that actually comes out. So, wish we had better news. Don't shoot the messenger.
Don't
but,
shoot the messenger.
You know,
Feel free to send us emails and
your
you know,
feedback and everything. Yeah, we love
talk
seeing
about your
that.
story and what's going on with your situation. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, so these were just published this morning. So
Okay.
these rates are very up to date. Again, these are indices. So contact your mortgage provider to get the actual rate you will qualify for.
Right.
30 years went from 6.732 down to 6.610. The 15-year actually ticked up ever so slightly. It's basically flat at 6.036, and the VA actually ticked up down. Down from 6.528 to 6.368.
Okay.
So
We'll take it.
we'll take it.
We'll take that.
And we're definitely
little ray
under
of
7
sunshine.
across the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inventory, valley-wide, we did see pretty substantial drop, about 500. We went from 20,324. We're under 20,000 now at 19,869. Now again,
Okay.
grain of salt, this is typical for this time of year. Folks are not looking forward to having people showing
Traipsing
their
through their home when
home
they're having
at Christmas time and the
visitors, when
holidays. So
Home's decorated. Yeah.
we should expect to see a pretty substantial jump
Yeah.
once the first of the year comes around. Peoria dropped a little bit. They're down to 665. Surprise, dropped just slightly. They're at 913. A little closer to home here, Trilogy at Vistancia dropped 2. They're at 44. Price range 495,000, 1,440,000 tops the list.
Okay.
Vistancia Village is actually up 2. They're at 52. Price range of 346,000 to
Nice and low
1,198,000.
for Vistancia. Okay.
Blackstone Country Club had one fall off. They're at 12 now. Price range is the same, however, 595,000. The most affordable, 2,790,000 tops the list.
Hopefully it went under contract.
Cortabella is at 35. they're unchanged. 448,000 is the most affordable. 929,900 remains the most expensive.
Okay.
Sun City Grand, 113. They dropped to 298,000. That townhome, they're going to have to drop the price of that. It's too high for a townhome. It's not going to sell.
Okay.
1,025,000 tops the list, and there was two, and one I didn't check. I ran out of time whether it went under contract or fell off for some reason. So it'd be interesting to see if we've had a $1 million sell in Sun City Grand.
Yeah.
Sun City West remains flat at 206. Available homes, 209,000 is the most affordable. 869,000 still tops the list. Westbrook Village dropped 3. They're at 37. 285,000 the most affordable. 560,000 tops the list. As far as the homes sold in Trilogy at Vistancia in the last 30 days, there's only been 5.
Ooh,
Still continues to
wow.
be very slow.
That dropped.
Trilogy at Vistancia under contract, 10 homes. So
wow.
again, things are a little slow here.
Yeah.
Vistancia Village sold in the last 30 days. They've had 11 sales. And Vistancia Village under contract, they have 10 homes. So,
All right.
all right, that's your report for
That's
this
the
week.
news.
I hope everybody has a blessed Thanksgiving, gets to spend time with their loved ones, and spend some time reflecting on what hopefully has been a successful year for everybody.
Yeah. Be grateful for what you have.
Be grateful, and we will see you again next week.
Happy
Take care.
Thanksgiving.